It's now becoming a cliché that China is ahead of the rest of the world in almost everything, from futuristic cities to record-breaking bridges, from AI breakthroughs to military hardware. But beneath the glittering skyscrapers and superpower image, a different reality is surfacing. Protests on the streets, an economy staggering under debt, citizens voicing dissent just as Beijing prepares for a grand regime anniversary. Therefore, what we are witnessing is a contrast too sharp to ignore, a nation celebrated for unstoppable progress, but now struggling to contain cracks that could reshape the global order. China may project strength to the world, but inside its borders, the pressure is mounting, socially, economically, and politically. Tonight, we peel back the curtain. Yes, China is building the world's longest bridges, developing futuristic AI, and boasting of high-speed trains that crisscross entire provinces. But on the other side of this story, ordinary citizens are frustrated. Jobs are disappearing, youth unemployment is soaring, and the promise of prosperity feels out of reach. In cities across China, rare protests are emerging. People are speaking out against corruption, inequality, and rising costs of living. These are not isolated incidents. They're the cracks in what was once presented as a flawless system. The regime's anniversary is supposed to be a celebration of power and prestige, a display of unity, but it's arriving at a moment of weakness. Dissent is louder than expected. Beijing has doubled down on censorship, tightened surveillance, and rolled out state propaganda. Yet protests persist. Therefore, what was meant to showcase strength could instead highlight vulnerability. China has been praised as the economic miracle of our age, but today the miracle feels more like a mirage. Local governments are drowning in debt, real estate giants are collapsing, exports are slowing, and consumers are reluctant to spend. The youth, once seen as the driving force of growth, face record unemployment. Therefore, what was once the model of global growth may now be the warning sign for overreach and imbalance. China wants to be the global alternative to the West, a leader of trade, technology, and diplomacy. But trade wars, sanctions, and growing distrust from other nations are squeezing its ambitions. From chip bans to reduced foreign investment, the outside world is pushing back harder than ever. Therefore, China faces challenges on two fronts: unrest within and resistance without. China is still a formidable force with achievements that cannot be dismissed, but the assumption that its rise is unstoppable, that narrative is cracking. Protests, economic stagnation, and global backlash show us another side, a nation that is powerful, yes, but not invincible. Therefore, the world should stop seeing China as only ahead of the rest and start seeing it as a country grappling with contradictions, one that could define not just its own future, but ours as well. The cliché says China is ahead in everything. The truth? China may be ahead, but it's also cornered, and in that tension lies the real story of our times.